Module 3, Discontinuity, written by Dr. George Tannous and narrated by Lydia. Greetings, welcome to lifecoachbootcamp.com. Important. Before you study this lesson, please watch this video. Why? Example. If you or your client are in a relationship and the other person displayed an attitude of not being truthful, you need to master and you need to educate your client the following. Confront and Level. Assertive Communications. As well as I feel good, PST. Positive self-talk. Make sure to answer the questions at the end and follow the instructions for submission. I am not a career criminal. Why do I need to study this? Answer. It is simple, we are all humans, and we all tend to not finish things. Read on, it will help you or someone you care about. It often happens that we start something with great enthusiasm, with all our energy and with all our hearts, but as soon as we find something else, we drop things without giving a second thought. We all have been there. But imagine engaging in this pattern constantly. Imagine doing this over and over again without having any control. Wouldn't the whole experience be exhausting? This is known as discontinuity. It is one of the 8 thinking errors that's found in career criminals. But how does discontinuity affect a criminal's lifestyle, and how does it influence their actions or decisions? Before answering these questions, let's understand what discontinuity is. What is discontinuity? It often happens that we get distracted from our goals due to external factors. No matter how hard we try to stick to the plan, we fail because our vision gets clouded and we start focusing on other tasks. This is exactly what discontinuity is. The tendency of losing sight and getting distracted or sidetracked by external events, surroundings, or environment. A person fails to stay focused on one task and fails to make firm decisions. This fluctuation is known as discontinuity. So, if discontinuity is something we all experience from time to time, how is it different in case of career criminals? Discontinuity in career criminals. Discontinuity in criminals is often severe. A career criminal fails to stick to his commitments over time. A criminal's intentions often fluctuate, and they find it difficult to pursue his goals. I wanted to apply for that job, but then I got caught up with my friends. I had to visit my parents, but I went to supermarket instead. I had to start a new project, but I just can't seem to finish the old ones. These are some examples that illustrate how minute events influence decisions of a criminal's life. Criminals having this thinking error often lack consistency and are unable to set realistic goals for themselves. Criminals are often found implementing the ideas and methods of teenage years in their adulthood. They simply refuse to take responsibilities that are usually dictated by society. In addition to this, they prefer staying confined to their old ways of dealing with the situation. Another aspect of discontinuity is distraction. Even when a career criminal picks a goal, he feels bombarded by so many options that he finds it challenging to pursue just one. Usually, people who suffer from discontinuity have a lot going on. They are always chasing something. There is something they always want to do. But as soon as they discover something else, they drop it, and the chase begins again. It's a given that the decisions and actions of career criminals are influenced by the external environment instead of internal. A bit of chaos in the surrounding is more than enough to distract a career criminal suffering from discontinuity. A small fluctuation in the environment can easily influence the response of a career criminal. Impact of discontinuity. What happens when you have too many thoughts on your mind? What happens when every other second your brain comes up with new ideas? Isn't that overwhelming? Chaotic? Yes, it is. And that's exactly what goes on in the minds of criminals when they try to focus on something. Since the brain of a criminal suffering from discontinuity is often filled with diverse thoughts, he finds it very difficult to stick to a single plan. This is one of the reasons why many criminals fall back on old patterns. Discontinuity is one of the key reasons why so many criminals go back to the world of crime. But there is more to the story. In addition to the above, criminals also suffer from guilt. Our brains follow a pattern. We constantly obsess with things we didn't do instead of the things we did. In 1927, Bluma Zygarnik, a Russian psychologist, conducted a test where subjects were assigned a set of tasks. During the experiment, each subject was interrupted right before the completion of the task. Result? Even though subjects were able to complete the tasks at hand, they were better able to recall the task in which they were interrupted. When we drop a task at hand abruptly, our mind continues obsessing about it. One of the most basic needs of our brain is to finish what we start, and when that fails to happen, our brain keeps looking for closure. It happens often that career criminals lead purposeless lives. Their chaotic minds full of distracting thoughts take over, and they are unable to achieve substantial goals. Even after being incarcerated for years, many criminals turn back to crime because they lack patience and perseverance. What can be done? Nobody likes taking guilt trips. And these become worse when they self-inflicted. But the good news is, there are few things a person can do in order to stay focused. If a person is constantly distracted and can't focus, the following steps can help set clear goals. Create a plan. Creating a plan gives a clear understanding of goals and helps in breaking down larger tasks into smaller, doable chunks. Set deadlines. The upside of having deadlines is that they create a sense of urgency. Deadlines help you focus on what's important and help you push yourself to complete the task. Get started. You have the plan, you've got your deadlines, and the only thing that's remaining is to get started. Gathering all the resources that you need at once to get the work started helps in minimizing distractions. Get the tools. There are plenty of tools that can help you keep a check on yourself. A to-do list can help you get a clear understanding of tasks remaining and tasks completed. Not a big fan of to-do lists? An old-fashioned calendar will do the trick. The aim here is to ensure you are getting things done and moving forward. But if a person feels extremely overwhelmed by his thoughts, if he feels that his thoughts are influencing his goals and feels stuck, talking to a therapist can be a good idea. Professional help can let a person increase control over these thoughts and get unstuck. The essay. Please write an essay, up to 2 pages, about a past experience you or someone you know had when you got easily distracted and didn't finish something. Tell us in detail, who, what, when, where, why, to whom, the time, the place of what you did, the outcome. And tell us in detail how you could have changed that use from what you learned today, so the outcome would have been good. Internalize this lesson. Make it become a part of you. Share your story in the forums. Our advice is for you to practice not making impulsive decisions for at least a week. Tell others around you to point out any event in which you didn't. Have them hold you accountable. Visit the forum and do a confession. What is a confession? A confession is when you've displayed a wrong behavior and were held accountable by one of your family members, peers, or even yourself. Visit the forum and tell us about it. We will give you feedback. Make sure to watch the video about confession for more details. Furthermore, become a member of the forum and give feedback to others. Read the article? Time to introspect. How do you feel when you drop a task in the middle to move on to something else? Is not being able to complete the task taking a toll on your professional as well as personal life? How? Do you get bombarded with various ideas? How do you keep yourself on track? Do you also find yourself obsessing over incomplete tasks? How do you deal with it? How do you think a person can overcome this destructive habit? There is no way any relationship will survive without having the qualities mentioned above. Make sure to read each article carefully at least 3 times. Print your workbook and answer all questions. Once you have completed this entire journey, you will be issued a life coach certificate, so long as you've been a member of the forums. Also, follow the instruction for sharing your story in our forums, as well as participating in our forums, especially our unique Confessions forum, so you may gain practice, knowledge, experience, and expertise. I am thankful that you have given me this opportunity to share all of this with you. May God bless you and bring prosperity and peace into your life. Respectfully yours, George Tannous, Ph.D.